Hello again, everyone, and welcome to a very special edition of This Week in the World of Football. This is episode number 350 for June 25th, 2024. I'm your host, Randy Snow. On this week's show, another team has folded in the Arena Football League. Kansas City, Kansas wants to lure the Chiefs out of Missouri, and former LSU head coach Les Miles is suing the school over vacated wins. But I'm not here by myself, of course. As always, I'm joined by my son, Adam.
Happy 350. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. We made it. We've been talking about doing this show for a while. We'll have a couple of special guests popping on a little later, so stick around for that. But hey, doing a video version of the show for a change. It's different for us, but we'll see how this goes.
Yeah, we did this on our 300th episode also, if you remember. We recorded that one.
Yeah, but we did that, but we were like in the same room. This is us actually doing it over the internet.
True. This is something new for us. But yeah, we started this podcast back in 2017. Our first podcast was posted on August 13th. That's almost 7 years ago. And here we are 7 years later, still doing our thing, still talking about all kinds of football that we love. And we're not sick of it yet. So I guess we're going to keep going for a while.
Yep, and a quick reminder to those of you out there.
Go ahead.
This is the other problem with us doing this is we're going to be talking over each other. I was just going to say real quick. I know you're about to do. We're about to do all the things. But I just wanted to quickly thank everybody out there before we get into the Randy's little spiel. 979 YouTube followers. We appreciate y'all. Keep it up. I mean, we hit 350 podcast episodes. We are inching ever closer to 1,000 YouTube subscribers. So we have come a long way. You mentioned it, it's been 7 years doing this podcast. We've grown, across a couple of platforms, so it's been exciting. Very exciting. I mean, now Randy can afford to buy nice Hawaiian Lions shirts. So
this was a gift. I didn't buy it myself, but I do like this. I always wanted a Hawaiian Lions shirt, and now I can get a big wig and do my Weird Al Yankovic impersonation sometime.
So that's truly a Honolulu blue shirt.
There you go.
There you go.
All right. We come to you each week from the fabulous World of Football Man Cave, located right here in the center of the football world, Kalamazoo, Michigan. We're here to promote the game of football in all its many forms, past, present, and future. Our goal is to educate, inform, and entertain our listeners with the glorious buffet that is the world of football. All this while keeping a close eye on the rich history of the game. Thanks for checking out our podcast. We'd love to get your feedback on one of our many platforms: Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, TuneIn, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music. So you can simply ask your Alexa device to play the World of Football podcast. We also have timestamps down in the description of both the podcast and many of our YouTube videos, so you can go right to the topics you really want to listen to. You can also find our podcast in its full audio form on our YouTube channel. Just search for the World of Football Kalamazoo, or use the handle, at the World of Football in the YouTube search bar. So let's begin today's show, and we're going to start our tour around the world of football with north of the border games in the CFL.
That's right. We start up in Canada. It was week 3 in the CFL. Thursday night saw the Montreal Alouettes manhandle the Ottawa Redblacks 47-21. It's the 11th straight win for Montreal dating back to last season. They hung up their Grey Cup banner. They had an amazing 23,000 person crowd at the game. It looked like a heck of an atmosphere. Our buddy Tim Capper was in attendance for this game. And Montreal, I'm convinced after this game, might be the best team in the CFL.
Yeah, they're looking really good. I felt like we had to give them a couple of games to see if they were for real or not. Looks like they're for real.
Agreed 100%. Then Friday night, the British Columbia Lions defeated the Winnipeg Blue Bombers 26-24 with over 30,000 fans at this game in Winnipeg. But the bad news for the Blue Bombers, though, this is their second home loss of the season. That's the first time since, 2018 that they've dropped 2 home games in the same season.
Yeah. Probably.
I know
like they're
they started
0-3 now.
3.
Yeah. for the first time since 2012.
Yeah, so a bit of a rough start for the Blue Bombers. I'm not worried yet, as we talked about on our other show, uh, Canadian Football League Weekly. Uh, I'm thinking this upcoming game for the uh, Blue Bombers will be the one that'll decide whether or not we should be in panic mode for the Blue Bombers.
Yeah, yeah, you're probably right about that.
And then Saturday, a game we actually attended. The Toronto Argonauts defeated the Edmonton Elks 39-36 on a last-second field goal. What a heck of a game that we ended up going to. Probably
Yeah.
the game of the weekend. Had a bit of everything in it. A lot of great scores, a lot of great defense. It was just a great atmosphere altogether. I know it's not like a sellout crowd there at BMO Field, but I had a wonderful time. How about you?
I had a great time. It was so much fun. After the trauma we went through 2 years ago of not making it to the stadium, to actually get there this time and have no problems taking the GO train, getting dropped off at the stadium, got right in, got back on the train afterwards, went back to our hotel. It was great. So it was a great, all around great experience for everything. So I would do it again in a heartbeat. And that was a really exciting game to watch. And BMO Field was a pretty nice place to go to. Great atmosphere, a lot of cool things to see and do there, and yeah, I can't wait to go back again sometime.
Yeah, we got pretty lucky too. We were told that, or on the weather, it was supposed to rain at some point. We thought it would rain during the game, and the way that stadium is set up, it's just two like big awnings over the,
Right,
two sidelines, and
right,
so I was like, well, we're not going to get wet even if it rains, but if it starts blowing, we're kind of screwed. The way everything was kind of angled there, but I mean, we got lucky. It was great weather all night long. The fans were great. If you listen to the highlights, if you hear one horn blowing during whatever plays, we were by that guy. We were by that guy blowing the horn. So, but it was
yeah.
fun.
No,
It was
it
such a good time.
yeah, it finally started to sprinkle as we got off the train back at our hotel, and so we lucked out completely. The rain held off that whole evening. So yeah, a great time in Toronto. Loved it.
Yep. So our recommendation for anybody who has not been to an Argonauts game at BMO Field, take the GO train. Get off at Expedition Station, and you will be right there. So
Exhibition
as long as you
station. Yep.
Exhibition Station, yeah, sorry, Exhibition Station, and everything else should be good. Like you have nothing really to worry about. You'll be dropped off right at BMO Field. I mean, it couldn't have worked out better. So I mean, we struggled obviously 2 years ago. This time, when we figured it out, we
Yep.
used the train this time. It makes me a lot.
Yep.
It'll be a lot easier in the future. We'll at least know what we're in for, and we'll probably do it again. I'm excited.
Yeah. And if I'm not mistaken, isn't there going to be a video about our trip to this game here coming out here pretty soon?
Oh yeah, you might see something here in a day or so. Probably when we're done with the podcast, and I'm going to get to work on that. It's been heck of very busy over here at the World of Football editing bay the last couple of nights. So getting this 350th show put together, it's going to be a little more involved than our typical podcast episodes, which is fine. We expected and worked around it for tonight. But
Yep.
yeah, we'll have a video up about our travels to Toronto. So be on the lookout for that. But all right, we're going to finish up the CFL here real quick. The Saskatchewan Roughriders on Sunday defeated the Hamilton Tiger Cats 36-20. This is a game just from the jump. The Roughriders deserved to win. They took the opening kick and knocked it out of Hamilton's hands. Hamilton fumbled the ball in the opening kickoff. Saskatchewan got it right back. And it was that was the tempo. That was the tempo.
Yep.
The theme of the night was the Rough Riders kind of having their way. A little worried about their quarterback, who got hurt during the game. I'm blanking out his name at the top of my head now. But Trevor Harris?
Trevor something.
I think it's Trevor Harris.
But he was replaced. He was replaced by Shea Patterson. I remember that, and he did a fine job. He scored a rushing touchdown. So yeah, we'll have to see if Trevor Harris comes back next week. Hopefully, he's not that severely injured.
Right. I mean, and on bye this week, Calgary, but on bye next week, Saskatchewan does have a bye. So hopefully, Trevor Harris can
That'll help
heal up. Yeah. So, some other CFL news from the week. The CFL fined 4 kickers for daring to complain about the insertion of microchips into the footballs. The CFL fined Winnipeg's kicker Sergio Castillo, Saskatchewan's kicker Brett Lawther, British Columbia's kicker Sean White, and Ottawa's kicker Lewis Ward on Friday. Castillo complained after Winnipeg's season opener against Montreal. Castillo missed 2 of 3 field goals and an extra point. So, yeah, this is something that kind of came out of nowhere. I mean, we talked about the story last week or the week before about the CFL giving teams the option of whether or not to use these balls.
Right.
Before the game on Saturday they had mentioned, hey, if you get a ball in the stand, send it back because it's got the microchip in it. So clearly during the Toronto game, they used those balls. So I don't know. I don't see why they can't help these kickers out if it's affecting what they do, or what the purpose of some of the, at least just for kicking. If that's the problem, like it's good for everything else for those tracking things they're doing. Fine, but let the kickers kick regular balls. I don't see what the problem is there. The league should be able to work with them.
Yeah.
And I did just see an article before we hopped on here about McLeod Bethel Thompson, the Elks quarterback, complaining about the league's scheduling, talking about how they have a short week this week. You know, they played Saturday, they got to play Thursday, so they're only getting like 4 days of rest. So he's complaining about the CFL schedulers or the league itself just not caring about player safety and like having these teams turn around and playing games. You know, I get it. It's a 9-team league. You know, they're trying to spread them out. So I'm sure every team's going to have to feel it. It's not just the Elks they're singling out. But I understand where McLeod Bethel Thompson's coming from, too. Like, these guys deserve to at least get a little bit of rest. They're not like the NFL, where the NFL, you know, these guys are making way more than these CFL guys. And, you know, they're kind of beholden to some of these new Thursday night contracts. But, I mean, the CFL's Friday, Saturday, Sunday should be their bread and butter. They've been doing these Thursday games. I don't know what kind of numbers they pull in. And don't get me wrong, as a consumer of the CFL product, I do enjoy a Thursday night game, a Friday night game, a Saturday night game, and a Sunday game. But I'm also down with, hey, give me a Friday, couple Saturday, or a couple Sunday games, and I'll still be good. Like, I don't think the Thursday games are completely necessary, but I don't know.
Well,
sure
they do this. They do this before the NFL season kicks in. You know, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, one game each. So once the NFL starts playing, or you know, even preseason games, you won't see too many Thursday night games in the CFL. So that this is just for the first, you know, third of the season or whatever, and then later on they'll just be on Saturdays and Sundays, and that'll be basically it. A few Mondays here and there, like the Labor Day Classic. But Thursday, you won't see too many Thursday night games anymore.
All right, so we're going to go from north of the border down into the indoor scene of the football world, and we're going to start with the Arena Football League, where it was week 9 of their season. On Saturday, saw the Salina Liberty defeat the West Texas Desert Hawks in a 2-0 forfeit, which means this game wasn't even played. It's a story we'll talk about in a second. The Salina Liberty awarded that forfeit victory after the Desert Hawks folding. We'll go into that a little bit. So instead, the Salina Liberty got to play an AIF team, and a team we've talked about before earlier this year, just to kind of put somebody, you know, against them in the arena to fill out the stands and still make that ticket sale. So they played the Cedar Rapids River Kings, and they won 85-18. So the River Kings, hopefully they got a nice payday to go over there and get that butt whooping.
Yeah. Yep.
And then all these games are on Saturday. So the other games that happened, the Washington Wolfpack got a shocking victory over the Southwest Kansas Storm, 47-46. They were down by, what were they down? They were down by 6 points with 10 seconds left. They threw up a heck of a pass, went about 45 yards, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it was somewhere around there. It was a deep pass, and got it in the end zone, took the lead from the Storm, and the Wolfpack, despite being eliminated from playoff contention, getting another victory, a very convincing win there at the end. I mean, hard to, you know, they've kind of, I won't say they've been a lame duck team the last several weeks when they've been playing real teams. This is the first game I feel like they showed up, and it's awesome to see. I've been kind of pulling for the Wolfpack, but, you know, it's been tough sledding up to this point, and it was awesome to hear that they had got that last second victory.
Yeah. Yeah, good for them.
All right, then the Orlando Predators had their way with the Wichita Regulators, 63-18. And then the Billings Outlaws defeated the Albany Firebirds 36-35 in your game of the week. One of the arena football games we're going to be talking about for a long time. As you and I, we on our train back from the game in Toronto, I turned on my phone. I was like, well, let's check out how this Billings Albany game has been going. And it was a low scoring affair, but Albany was up by a couple scores. So we were like, 5 minutes left. I don't know. I felt like Albany had it in the bag, and we turned it off. We were trying to pay attention, get off the train and all that. Get back to the hotel room, and what do we find out? We find out that in the last 9 seconds of this game, the Billings Outlaws were able to score 12 points and get the victory. Unbelievable stuff here. And if you're a Firebirds,
that's the kind of thing that's the kind of thing the Arena Football League is known for. Is you're never out of it. What have I been saying for years? You never leave an arena football game until the clock hits all zeros, because you never know what's going to happen at the end of the game, because there's just so many things that can happen, and this is just another example of it right there.
Yeah, I think the new rules help. That 4-point play helps. The deuce helps. The Uno helps. And it has made these games a little more exciting here at the end. I think these are good improvements to the arena football game we already love. And
yeah,
I mean, clearly the Firebirds, if you're a fan of the Firebirds, at least you can say you've been in pretty much out of the 9 games they played, at least 7 of them have been these type of instant classic style, like comes down to the end of the game type things. It's unbelievable the stuff the Firebirds have been involved with this year. But kudos to Billings. I mean, you got to stick it out. You're playing, at that point, the best team in the league, the number 1 seed at least. Now you're the number 1 seed. Now you got the target on your back. So good for them. Good for that Billings ownership group. I've said from the beginning, like, I didn't think that I like the idea of Billings joining the AFL. They have proven me wrong. They have proved to be one of the best teams in the AFL, one of the best run teams in the AFL. So I'm happy to see Billings where they're at right now, and we'll see what they do in the playoffs, and we'll talk about that in a bit. I might be pulling for Billings to pull this upset all the way. We'll see. But all right, and then on bye this week, the Nashville Cats. So it's their second straight bye going into the final week of the season. Looking at our standings real quick, as we also, like I said, we'll talk about the playoff standings. So clinching playoff spots are 6 teams. And 2 teams have already been eliminated, so we already know what teams are in the playoffs. Your number 1 seed as of right now is the Billings Outlaws at 7-1. The Albany Firebirds are your number 2 seed at 7-2. The Salina Liberty are your 3 seed at 6-2. The Orlando Predators, your 4 seed at 5-2. The Southwest Kansas Storm are your 5 seed at 4-5. And the Nashville Cats are your 6 seed at 3-4. The Washington Wolfpack now sit at 2-6, and the Wichita Regulators at 1-6. So a couple news stories. Well, let's talk about the playoff picture first. It was late last night or early this morning. I think it was early this morning. I woke up to Arena fan reporting something that happened on the Predators. I forget what that broadcast is called that they do, but the Predators do like a coach's show or some sort of show for their team. And it was through that essentially it came out that the Arena Football League has a television partner now to broadcast the Arena Football League playoffs. And because of that, the playoff teams and the format has expanded from the 5 teams we had talked about last week or the week before, now to 6 teams. So originally we were thinking that the Nashville Cats and the Southwest Kansas Storm, who play this week, were going to be playing in a elimination style game in week 10 to determine who's going to make it into the playoffs. But now it's kind of moot and it's just for seeding. But so what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I like it. I mean, 6 teams is better than 5, I think, and I think it'll be good on TV knowing that you've got the top 2 seeds probably having a bye, and then you've got the number 3 against the number 5 and the number 4 against the number 6 team in the playoffs, and it just makes a lot more sense. So they haven't announced who that TV partner is yet. All kinds of speculation. I threw a couple of names out there, and you didn't like any of them, so I don't know. Don't know who they got for their partner. We don't know if it's NFL Network. We don't know if it's ESPN or ESPN2 or CBS Sportsnet. No idea. We'll find out in a day or so. But whoever it is, I'm happy that they have a partner that will broadcast all of these playoff games.
Yeah, you mentioned those, the ESPN and the NFL Network, and I said if they can't pay NFL Network at the beginning of the year to air these games, there's no way they can afford ESPN either. I don't know if it won't be. I don't think it'll be either of them. My theory might have been that Stadium Network that did some IFL games a couple years ago. I
Yeah.
really don't know. I mean, is it Vire still? We haven't heard from Vire in a while since the league essentially moved their games to their own YouTube channel, which is what I would have done from the get go anyway. But we'll see. Hopefully that news drops here soon. Maybe even we'll get some breaking news as we record this show. I don't know. But
Yeah.
that's not the only news to come out of the Arena League this week, as they've also announced that Lori Volk, or Vokey? How would you say that? Lori Volk?
I'd say Volk. Volk.
All right. Lori Volk has been named the Vice President of Sales for the Arena Football League. She has 25 years of experience as a sales and marketing executive. So just another person with a lot of experience coming into this front office. It's clearly something that, the league has been slowly rectifying since getting control back from the previous regime that's been running the Arena Football League. So better late than never.
Yeah.
They're just getting their ducks in a row. I don't know how you feel, but I mean, as with any like project like movies or football teams, you can never go wrong with adding talent. And it sounds like with somebody with that kind of experience, you're adding talent. And to me, that gives me a little hope.
Right. And she has worked with sports teams before as far as sales and marketing. I don't think her whole 25 years has been with sports teams, but she has worked with sports teams. So she does have that experience. But 25 years in sales and marketing uh, is just another positive sign that the league front office is heading in the right direction, I think.
Agreed 100%. All right. Now we're going to step from the arena over to the indoor football league.
You want me to take that? I can
You
do
told
that.
me before we hit
Let's.
record that that's what you were going to do.
I forgot. It's been a long time since I said that. Okay, yeah, IFL. This was week 15 in the Indoor Football League. They had one game on Friday night, several games on Saturday, and one on Sunday. So on Friday night, it was the Massachusetts Pirates defeating the Jacksonville Sharks 44-30. On Saturday, it was the Tulsa Oilers over the Iowa Barnstormers 54-48. Quad City Steamwheelers over the Green Bay Blizzard 37-27. The Bay Area Panthers over the Duke City Gladiators 34-32. The Frisco Fighters over the Sioux Falls Storm 55-40. The Vegas Nighthawks over the Arizona Rattlers 55-51. The San Diego Strike Force squeaked by the Tucson Sugar Skulls by the score of 41-40. And on Sunday, it was the Northern Arizona Wranglers defeating the San Antonio Gunslingers 74-68. So let's take a look at the standings now in the IFL. In the East, it's the Green Bay Blizzard and the Frisco Fighters at 10-3, the Massachusetts Pirates at 7-6, Quad City Steamwheelers at 6-6, Tulsa Oilers at 5-8, Iowa Barnstormers at 4-8, Sioux Falls Storm 3-9, and the Jacksonville Sharks at 2-10. Then in the West, it's the Bay Area Panthers at 10-2, the Vegas Nighthawks at 9-3, Northern Arizona Wranglers at 8-4, San Diego Strike Force at 8-5, Arizona Rattlers at 8-5, San Antonio Gunslingers at 6-6, Tucson Sugar Skulls at 2-10, and the Duke City Gladiators at just 1-11 this season. Let's move quickly on to the Arena League, which is no relation to the Arena Football League. This is week 4 for that new league. They only got 4 teams, so they had a game on Saturday and a game on Sunday. The Ozark Lunkers defeated the Iowa Woo 52-46 in double overtime. And on Sunday it was the Kansas City Goats over the Duluth Harbor Monsters 58-57 in another high-scoring close game there. Let's see. I was under the impression that the Women's Football Association, Women's Football Alliance playoffs were last weekend, and I kept looking for scores, couldn't find them. Finally realized that they start this weekend. So here are the matchups in the 3 divisions of the Women's Football Alliance. There are 3 divisions and 4 teams in each, or 4 games in each division. So we're going to have 4 teams in each division. So anyway, Division 3, it's going to be the New Mexico Bonitas versus the Rocky Mountain Thundercats. It's going to be the Oklahoma Rage over the Midwest Mountain Lions, the New York Knockouts versus the Maine Mayhem, and the Cincinnati Cougars versus the Virginia Panthers. Now in Division 2, you're going to have the Oklahoma City Lady Force versus the Derby City Dynamite. And the Dynamite was a team that was thrown in at the last minute to replace the Sun City Stealth, who were unable to get in the playoffs. Not a lot of details on why, but they had to drop out, so the Derby City Dynamite stepped in for them. Then it's going to be the Nebraska Pride over the versus the Austin Outlaws. The Atlanta Rage is going to take on the Baltimore Nighthawks, and the Palm Beach Coyotes are going to take on a hometown team here, the Detroit Venom from Michigan. And finally, in the WFA Pro Division, which is the top division in the WFA, it's going to be the St. Louis Slam versus the Cali War from California, the Minnesota Vixen versus the Mile High Blaze, the Pittsburgh Passion versus the Tampa Bay Inferno, and the Boston Renegades against the DC Divas. Now, I ran across this one other story. There was another women's league that had a championship game this weekend. It's a league I hadn't even heard of. There are several women's leagues out there. The WFA is the most well known, but there are others. And I just happened to catch a Twitter post that talked about the championship game. So it was called the Women's National Football Conference, and they held their championship game last weekend. The Mississippi Lady Panthers ended a perfect season with a 9-0 record with a win over the Texas Elite Spartans by the score of 13-6. And I posted a picture of one of the players in the locker room holding up the trophy. This has got to be one of the coolest championship trophies I've ever seen. Did you see this yet?
I have not seen this yet, but I'm sure there's a picture on screen right now. I have not seen this at all.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Let's see if I can
huge.
find it.
It's she's holding it. It's about 3 feet tall, and it looks like it's all rhinestones. There's a football on top that's rhinestone. The whole base is like a swirling base that wraps around and holds the football up. Really, really cool. Take a look at that. That's on our Twitter or X feed under the World of Football, and just a really cool trophy. Which from a league I'd never even heard of, but congratulations to the Mississippi Lady Panthers for having a perfect season and winning that trophy.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess we're going to move on now to the European League of Football, and this was week 5
let me take this one.
ELF. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah,
I'll take a drink.
Like Randy said, it was all right. Yeah, do it. You've been talking quite a bit. I'll fill in for you. So week 5 was a very entertaining week here. They have 17 teams, so we had a handful of games, starting with the Milano Seamen defeating the Barcelona Dragons 27-18. So Randy's favorite team in the league, as you all know, the Milano Seamen. Look, a bulk of this scoring in this game, I don't know if you watched any of that. Yeah, from Italy. I don't know if you caught this game. A bulk of the scoring happened late in the third quarter, because up till about a couple minutes left in the third, it was 6-6. So all the scoring happened at the tail end of the third. All of the fourth quarter was a scoring frenzy, and it was actually quite entertaining. A little slow and sluggish at the start, but it ended up being a nice fireworks show. And the Milano Seamen, they came to play. They got in the end zone. So good for them. I ain't got the jokes this week.
Thank goodness. Enough with the puns already.
But so then the next game we're going to talk about the Raiders Triol, from Austria defeated the Helvetic Mercenaries from Switzerland 33-10. This was all Raiders. The Raiders just capitalized on like every turnover possible. It was just, I wouldn't say it was no contest, but the interesting thing from this game, if you go to watch the highlights, the soccer field they played on here in Switzerland, I believe, because it was a Helvetic home game. Normally they have the soccer field laid out, and then they put the traditional American-style football lines on top of it. They didn't do that for this game. It was just a soccer field with no lines other than the center field line.
Oh
They had
no.
like one line for the end zone, and then they had the little markers off to the side, like on the sideline for the 10, the 20, the 30. So I was like, how in the world does this work? So clearly somebody either didn't get the memo. There were a couple of times where I thought, well, maybe the field was too wet and they couldn't get it marked properly. Because like there was a couple of times where it seemed like water got kicked up from the field. So I don't know the situation there. But it was a little odd to watch these highlights and go, I don't know what yard line we're at right now. All I know is that I can see the soccer lines, but I can't see anything else. All right, then the next game from this weekend, probably your best team, if I were to wager a bet in the league right now, is the Stuttgart Surge, who defeated the Munich Ravens 38-22. This was just, that score, a nice high scoring game, but this was all Surge. The Surge were just doing everything right. They just look like they can't be stopped. I think at the league, they put out a post today that if the postseason were to start today, I think the Surge would be your number one seed. They're just that good right now. So keep an eye out for the Stuttgart Surge. The team that would be the number 2 seed in that situation or that scenario would be the Vienna Vikings on Sunday, who defeated the Prague Lions in very convincing fashion, 42-3. Then we had the Wrocław Panthers defeat the Farivar and Throners 44-12. Another game that was just one-sided. There was a lot of one-sided games this weekend, which eventually brings us to probably the game of the week. The one I would recommend everybody go check out the highlights from this would be the Rhine Fire defeating the Berlin Thunder 27-24. The Fire had to come back during this game. They were down. But somebody I want to talk about from this game is running back Glenn Tunga. It's a name I love hearing when they bring him up in the broadcast. He wears number 17 for the Fire. And this particular game, he had 27 rushes for 175 yards and scored 3 touchdowns in this game. This dude is utterly electric. I believe he leads the entire ELF in rushing right now. I believe his stats for the year after 5 games played, he's got 9 rushing touchdowns on 716 yards in only 5 games.
Wow.
So this dude's been playing lights out. Some other players to mention. How about this? On the season, after 4 games, Stuttgart quarterback Riley Hennessy has got 1,011 passing yards and has thrown 14 touchdowns in 4 games. For the Wrocław Panthers, linebacker A.J. Wentland has played 5 games. He's got 67 tackles, 2 sacks, 4 tackles for loss, and an interception. This dude's been balling out. And then one more player we're going to bring up as another MVP candidate. Jacob Sullivan, the quarterback for the Berlin Thunder, and through 5 games has thrown 1,169 passing yards and 12 touchdown passes. So there's some talent in this league. I didn't even mention in the Vikings game for the Vienna Vikings, their wide receiver Horn had 8 catches for 237 yards and caught 3 touchdowns. So there's some dudes playing and balling out in this league. It's been a lot of fun watching these highlights. While I have yet to sit down and watch a full game, front to back, seeing these highlights put together has really helped out and gives a decent sense of how these games have been going. There's a lot of good stuff being done in this league, and I'm glad we decided to start covering that this year. So that means on bye this week, the Madrid Bravos, the Cologne Centurions, the Paris Musketeers, the Hamburg Sea Devils, and the Frankfurt Galaxy. And fun note, every road team this week came out as victors.
Yep. In all 6 games, when I was putting the stats together, I realized that every road team won their game this week. So, yeah, that's a cool stat.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, now looking at the ELF.
The stats and the highlights that you said are very easy to find on their website. So that makes it easy for us to put things together and write up the summary and whatnot. But it's a great website, easy to find everything. Lots of great highlight packages and everything already. A day later, boom, they're all there for all the games, and it's really nice. So check them out.
Yeah, and go to their YouTube channel, subscribe. Like I said, I believe you can watch the games through YouTube. I think that's where they stream them. And like 7 minutes. They keep all their highlight packages to 7 minutes. So they played 6 games this weekend. It took me about a half hour to watch all the highlights just in a sitting. It was pretty nice. So half hour, 45 minutes, however math works. 6 times 7 would be 42 minutes. So a little, 45 minutes, you sit down, you could have caught up with all the games this weekend. All right, let's look at the standings real quick as they have finished week 5, going into week 6. In their Eastern, I think they're all called conferences. So they have 3 conferences that they have in this league. In the East, the Vienna Vikings sit at 5-0, the Verslav Panthers at 3-3, the Berlin Thunder at 2-3, the Farivar and Throners at 0-4, and the Prague Lions at 0-5. In the Central Conference, the Stuttgart Surge sit at 4-0, Raiders Triol at 4-1, the Munich Ravens at 2-3, the Milano Seamen at 2-3, the Barcelona Dragons at 2-3, and the Helvetic Mercenaries at 0-4. In the West Conference, it's the Madrid Bravos at 3-0, the Rhine Fire at 4-1, the Paris Musketeers at 2-1, the Hamburg Sea Devils at 2-1, the Frankfurt Galaxy at 1-2, and the Cologne Centurions at 1-2. All right, we're going to talk about one league that we talked about the championship game last week. Now we got some news. They're already announcing teams joining their league next season, and that's the National Arena League, who made the announcement that the Wheeling Miners of the AAL2 will be joining the National Arena League for the 2025 season, giving the National Arena League a 6th team as of right now. The Miners, just a fun note, will take on the Peach State Cats in the AAL2 championship game on Saturday, July 6th in Wheeling, West Virginia.
Yeah, so, they win a championship and then they go jump to the NAL. So we'll see if they're as good once they get to the NAL.
They got to win that championship first. They're in the game at least.
True. Yes. Yeah, from what we've seen of some of these AAL2 teams, when they've gone up against AIF teams or NAL teams, they have not fared very well. I think only one game was close. All the others were beat downs. So we shall see. We'll see what happens there.
All right, guys, we're going to take a moment here to talk about some of the other stuff you can find on our YouTube channel real quick. Last week, we did Arena Football Weekly, hosted by yours truly. We talked about Week 8. Look forward to Week 9. So go over to the channel and check that out. And also, we have this little show that maybe some of you have checked out, maybe you haven't. It's called Just Lying Around, a Detroit Lions podcast, hosted by myself and my brother-in-law, Kyle, who will be joining us here momentarily. So if you get a chance, go over and check that show out.
Now, before we go any further, we have a couple of special guests that we wanted to bring on. This being our 350th episode, we thought it'd be a good opportunity to bring in the other 2 members of the World of Football team, Kyle Sutherland and Aaron Snow. Kyle is a co-host of Just Lying Around, a Detroit Lions podcast, along with Adam. And Aaron joins us on our NFL Picks video in the fall. He's also our director of marketing for the website. So they've both been a big part of helping this channel to get to where it is today. We couldn't have done it without them. So welcome, guys, to This Week in the World of Football. Kyle, let's start with you. Kyle, why did you want to do a Detroit Lions podcast with Adam?
Because truthfully, I decided to do a podcast because my favorite player, Aiden Hutchinson, got drafted by the Detroit Lions, so I had to cover it.
That was it? It's all Aiden Hutchinson's fault?
Yep. Well, and I dragged Adam into it.
Oh, yeah, dragged me into it. That's how that worked.
Okay. And how has it been? You guys have done what, about 25 episodes, 30 episodes, I think, of the show. You covered all of last season. How's it going working with him?
Pretty good. We started out, he was the lead person, but then he let me take over, so it got a lot better after that.
Oh,
yeah.
Shots fired. Man.
Yeah, overall it's been good. I mean, I can't wait for this season, so yeah.
Yeah. Cool. All right, Aaron, you've been to I'm sorry. This is still Kyle. I'm sorry. You've been to a USFL Panthers game with us, as well as a couple of Lions games, but you've never been to the Pro Bowl. How can that be, Kyle? You've never been to I'm sorry, not the Pro Bowl, the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
You've never been to the Pro
How
Bowl
was
either,
it?
Randy.
And I wrote this too.
None of us have.
So how is it, Kyle, that you've never been to the Pro Football Hall of Fame?
Well, that's in Canton, Ohio, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's the I can't go into Ohio territory because that's the team from down south. So that's why I can't go. Or I've never been there.
Okay.
Have you ever
Well,
set
we're
foot
gonna
in the
have to
state of Ohio, like ever?
Yeah, Cedar Point a couple times.
Oh,
Well, we'll have to remedy that sometime, Kyle. We're all gonna have to go to the Hall of Fame together.
I'm telling you,
All
I'm
right,
already
now,
sniffing
Aaron.
a video out of it. Kyle goes to the Pro Football Hall of Fame for the first time. I'm telling you, it'll be gold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Aaron, I want to ask you this now. You have spent your whole life being dragged around by me to various Lions games when you were a kid, training camps. I've taken you to CFL games, Arena Football League games, and even several cemeteries where we've looked up graves of football greats. Um, is there anything that stands out of your mind about all the games and cemeteries that I've taken you to?
This question actually for me.
I was going to
Yes,
say.
it is.
Yeah, I mean, growing up, going to those Rampage games when you would interview players after the game, that really stuck out a lot to me. I really enjoyed like going to the games with you guys, and then even like when you had the season tickets for the three of us, but then you couldn't use the season ticket because you were up in the press box writing your articles. Um, I really enjoyed that time too, just because it was a really fun trip as a little family. I mean, even though like our brother and your sister and our mom didn't go, but like just the three of us getting to go and enjoy the football games was always really fun. Um, not as much fun being a Lions fan early on. I know my mom tried to sway me to be a Packers fan for that one year, and I
Oh, yeah.
deeply regret that. But I mean, here we are now. Helped you get to a Lions playoff game to kind of help return the favor. We've seen a division championship, so it's all been fun. It's all been quite the ride, and I'm looking forward to some more rewarding years as a Lions fan coming up. So
Yes.
all in all, I've enjoyed
Yeah.
all of it. I've been to the Pro Football Hall of Fame before, and I can say I can't wait to go back again.
Now, didn't you have a school picture taken with a Brett Favre jersey? Am I mistaken in that?
I did. You know how most teenagers go through that emo phase, and they always say it's
Mhm.
just a phase, mom, and that was my just a phase for that one year. I think there was like 8 straight school pictures where I'm taken in some kind of football jersey or football team shirt. So,
I know you were in a Redskins jersey at one point. I remember that picture.
yep,
Mom
mom,
got your Redskins jersey.
yeah, mom got that Stephen Davis jersey with the old Arrowhead logo on the side, like the throwback
Yep.
uniform, and yep, definitely wore that to school. So, I
Did you
mean,
do a
like
Panthers one too? I remember for a minute you're a Panthers fan, Carolina
I
Panthers.
don't think I had a Panthers jersey, but I think Cheryl and Marty got me like a little football, or you visited them, and somebody brought back a little tiny Panthers football that I would play catch with. Oh, also, I don't remember if you remember this, Dad, but back in the younger days, when Abram and I shared a room, we had the two twin beds. There would be nights when I would take the twin beds and we'd set them up on the wall to be like arena boards. And so we'd move the beds to the side of the room, have the two mattresses up by the window, and we'd play arena football.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Yeah.
cool. Well, then I guess I raised you right.
Mhm.
Could have been worse. He could still be a
Yeah,
Packers
yeah.
fan.
Oh, yeah. Thank God that didn't happen. Ooh, boy. Okay, well,
Yeah. Now,
let's do some.
well, let me
No, go
give one
ahead.
last comment. And so yeah, now that
Okay.
I'm fully a Lions fan, and my wife Liz was a baseball fan, so now the Lions are her team, I can't go back to any other football team. And I do want to give her a quick shout out today, June 25th. She did make it to Harper's Ferry on her Appalachian Trail through hike, which is about 1,020 miles out of the 2,197 that she's going. So just told her I'd give her a shout out. She's killing it out there.
Yes, she is,
Excellent.
man.
Yeah. Yeah. We've been following her Facebook posts every now and then about what she's been doing. Some great pictures and videos. It's just awesome that she's doing that. Uh, better
Mhm.
do it while you're young because yeah, you don't want to be doing that when you're in your 60s. So she's doing it right. Okay, let's do some NFL news here. The first story I've got is Kansas Governor Laura Kelly signed a bill recently that would fund stadiums for the Chiefs and the Royals. The stadiums are currently located in Missouri, and this comes after Missouri voters failed to pass a proposal to fund upgrades to the Chiefs Arrowhead Stadium. So when you think about this, you've got Kansas City, Missouri, and Kansas City, Kansas. They're like across the river from one another, two different states. So the state of Kansas is trying to get the Chiefs and the Royals to move across the river out of state so that they can get some of that money coming in from there. I think it's a fascinating idea. Of course, they'd still be known as the Kansas City Chiefs and Royals, but Kyle, what do you think about that? The Chiefs possibly moving just a few miles across the river to a whole other state.
That's pretty interesting. I mean, it's the Kansas City Chiefs, so they're going to win every Super Bowl, it seems like. So whether it be across one part of the river or the other, like, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I don't think most people will know the difference other than they wouldn't be playing in Arrowhead Stadium or maybe a new Arrowhead Stadium. The logos would be the same, the name would be the same. So I think it's just the average fan won't even know about it. But I think it's interesting. I think this gives the Chiefs and the Royals a little bit of leverage on a bidding war for who wants to build us a stadium next, and it could turn out to be a good thing.
All it is the leverage play. If you're the Chiefs, you're going to get what you want in renovations or upgrading, Arrowhead Stadium. The Royals get whatever they want. They're baseball. We don't talk about that here. But if that falls through, you got this sweet deal, a brand new stadium just across the river. Could you imagine a brand new, whatever they call it, stadium with Patrick Mahomes still in his prime? Like, it'd be a nut house. So I think it's a win. If you're the Kansas City Chiefs, it's a win-win situation. You might just have a little bit of like, well, if we are moving from Arrowhead to the new stadium, is Missouri gonna give you some flack? What are they gonna do to make it your life a living heck until you actually get moved to across the river? Who knows? This will be a fascinating thing to watch. I don't think it ultimately happens. I think they want to keep Arrowhead Stadium. They want to keep it, in the Chiefs, lore and mythos. So I just don't see anything really happening, but it wouldn't shock me. I mean, teams have moved for less.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Aaron, any
see
thoughts
a
from you?
move happening. The Hunt family has been a staple of the NFL for forever. I don't see them being one of those teams that up and moves. I think they're rooted in that city, rooted in that community, and they've had a lot of success, especially recent success. And you don't really see a whole lot of big time teams move cities in franchise sports.
Hey, at least they don't have to change the name if they do. So.
That's right. Yeah, they wouldn't have that cost to deal with. All right, another story that also concerns the Kansas City Chiefs is that they are releasing defensive lineman Isaiah Buggs following multiple incidences this offseason. He's been accused of domestic violence, misdemeanor, animal cruelty, burglary even. He's currently sitting in a jail in Alabama, and he played for the Detroit Lions for the last two seasons in 2022 and 23. Just a really sad story about somebody that had his whole career ahead of him. But yeah, I don't know what to think about this. Anybody have any thoughts?
There's a lot to this story. There's something about a hookah lounge that he owns being involved, and it's a really bizarre situation. I think he posted bail, so I don't think he's actually sitting in jail anymore. I think he posted his bail. And okay. There's something where maybe even the animal cruelty charge could be lifted, and if that happens, that's just one less bad thing on the record. But, I mean, how do you get around the domestic violence thing? Something about also, he was already, had a warrant or whatever, or he had already gotten in trouble for one thing, and then he turns around and does something else. Well, he's already in trouble, so he just doubled down on dumb. So I don't know. I mean, when he was with Detroit, I mean, he was like a nice kind of fill-in piece every now and then. He wasn't like a full-on starter, but he would be a rotational guy, and he did some solid work now and then. But When the Lions lost, I wasn't losing any sleep over it. And now this happens.
Anybody else have anything before we go to the next news story?
My 2 cents on it is just he was a solid player for the Lions. He did make some splash plays here and there. It was kind of weird early in the season being a Lions fan and following the fact that he was a coach's decision to miss some games early on, middle of the season. Like you kind of wonder, like for somebody who's had a solid position on our team, why is he not playing? And like, especially when our run defense was struggling, like why isn't Bugs out there? But now kind of you're connecting the dots and you're seeing these stories and you're like, okay, maybe the Lions got wind of his character concerns early on. But yeah, I'm not too involved in the story to really make a super big like, oh, he's a bad guy decision. But some of those allegations are pretty serious.
Okay. Kyle, anything?
No, I just So he played in Detroit for 2 years. Like his first year, he was kind of like one of those leader roles. This last year, when he was in Detroit, like Aaron was saying, it's kind of weird how he wasn't playing, or they kind of sit him a few games here and there. So yeah, it sounds like maybe the Lions did get kind of wind of like, hey, Isaiah Bugs, there might be something going on with you. So yeah, it sucks that this is happening, but I hope everything gets figured out, whether it's true or not. He gets the help he needs, and hopefully he can figure it out and maybe get back into playing football. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just one of those things. Like when you got something good going for you and you screw up like this, like that just sucks. So yeah.
Yep. Okay. Another story, and I just saw this one today. So this was brand new as of this morning. I actually read it in the Kalamazoo Gazette newspaper. Yeah, that's an actual newspaper that I still get. I don't know. You guys don't have any idea what that is. But anyway, the article I read, it says the
What are you doing getting a newspaper still?
internet. What's that? The
How old are
NFL
you?
Players Association. Don't ask. The NFL Players Association is considering putting a proposal before the league that asks the league to replace spring practices and make training camps longer, meaning that training camp would begin in late June or early July. This would give players a longer break in the summer and hopefully reduce some of the injuries that have been occurring during some of these spring practices. Some players and coaches are against it and feel that it would just make an already long season of 17 games even longer. And I kind of agree with that. I mean, it does make sense. I mean, I can kind of see both sides of the story. You bring them together, in May for a couple of weeks or a couple of days, and then you don't see them again until the start of training camp. And, why bother? Just add another week or a couple weeks to the training camp. But then, then training camp's awfully long. So I don't know, Adam, what do you think about that?
I think it's I would personally say, don't start anything till like after 4th of July. Give these guys a break from February through July. After that, let them, however you need to leading into training camp. I kind of like the idea of instead of a random mini camp in May, like now you get your rookies. I think the only thing you need to do is like a week or two rookie camp after the rookies get drafted, but then you get your season, your seasoned vets or whatever to show up, second week of July or something, and go from there. I don't think it should be that big of a deal, especially when like a league like the Canadian Football League plays 20 weeks of their regular season, and their training camps before that too. So that's a long season. I think NFL players, I don't know, you eliminate some of that extra stuff before July. I think it should balance out.
CFL also has multiple bye weeks per team, though.
They do,
so like
which
in
is
the
something the
NFL, you only
NFL
get
should
one.
rectify.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure it'll come down to money, but it'll probably see a
Usually
change
does.
at some point. So, I mean, I'm happy with the product that's currently at our disposal. So, I mean, whatever the NFL does to think they can generate more money, or maybe the NFLPA will do something about player safety, but it doesn't really impact me this whole offseason stuff because I'm happy with the product that's put out there in the fall.
Kyle? Any
What
thoughts?
about you, Kyle?
Yeah, Kyle.
No, not really. I mean, the season, 18 weeks already. So if they do, Roger Goodell was saying like he wants to make the season like more games or whatever. So if they get to like 19 or 20 week season, then yeah, multiple bye weeks if that's going to happen. But yeah, I don't see a problem with the training camp being a little longer.
Okay. All right. Somebody near and dear to our hearts, Barry Sanders, who is 55 years old, revealed that he had an unexpected heart-related health scare over Father's Day weekend. No other details were provided because Barry just doesn't talk that much and give you too many details. But he says he's doing better now, and he thanked the doctors, nurses, and other healthcare professionals that provided him with the needed care. So I'm glad he's okay, but well, you got to take these health things seriously when they crop up. I mean, you think these athletes are indestructible, but age and time catches up to you, and it's hard to stay healthy all the time. Okay,
Yeah, I mean,
let's move on to the next story.
Yeah, no, I mean, in our family, I mean, we've had our own, a family member with a heart issue lately, and we've had to, kind of deal with that. So I get it. I mean, even an athlete's going to go through stuff like this. And when I
Right.
saw that news, it did kind of like make me for a second make me go like, dang, like we could have lost Barry Sanders over this weekend. Like it's a scary thought. And some of these athletes that we grew up, loving and adoring are just regular people. At the end of the day, they can succumb to health ailments like the rest of us, even though they were like at the peak physical form of the human condition at one point. So I don't know. It for a minute it made me really appreciate like Barry being around still. I'm glad he's all right, and whatever he's got to do to recover. I'm sure he'll get a nice big warm welcome like he usually does, maybe more so.
Sure.
Whatever the next Lions event is that he ends up going to, which might not be for a while, and it shouldn't be for a while. He should rest up and do all that, what he's got to do. So.
Yep. Okay.
Agreed.
Well, this next story is one that I guess Kyle wanted to talk about. So,
yes.
Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce appeared on stage with his girlfriend Taylor Swift in London during her stop on the Eras tour. Did you see that video, Kyle? What do you think about that?
Of course he did. He wanted us to do this story.
Yeah, so all those Taylor Swift fans that watch this or listen to this podcast, yeah.
They're hanging on your every word, Kyle. Just remember that.
So yeah, I was on X. I saw the videos. I'm like, oh, that's pretty interesting. So and when Travis Kelce decides to retire, he's going to be one of the backup dancers for Taylor Swift.
I thought he was going to be a roadie. Yeah, I thought he was just going to be a roadie that sets up the equipment and travels around with her, and he's up there hooking up the lights and making the sound checks and stuff like that. We'll see.
Did you watch this video, Dad?
I did. It's everywhere right now.
You secret Swiftie.
It's just a fun little what?
You secret Swiftie.
A quick little 30-second video of him on stage, doing his thing with a couple other guys and her, and changing her clothes and getting her ready for the next set or whatever. It was no big deal. It's getting so much attention. I don't get it myself, but it's Taylor Swift and it's Travis Kelce, so you're getting the best of both worlds.
I'm not even a big Taylor Swift fan, but I think it was fun that he got to go up on stage. All the fans lost their mind. He looked pretty dapper in that top hat and had those nice big long coattails. And he's just having fun, living your best life. I mean, shoot, you got the hottest artist in the world as your girlfriend, and you're already a big personality with your own big podcast. You're an NFL millionaire, superstar, Super Bowl champion. Shoot, is there nothing he can't do? And clearly, he can now perform on the Eras tour, the biggest sticking tour on the planet since the Beatles, were on this, touring.
And she probably didn't.
How dare you mention
Yeah, she saved money. She's such a smart businesswoman. She saved so much money. She didn't have to pay for a third backup dancer. She just told her boyfriend to get his butt out there. Otherwise, she's kicking him out of the house.
How dare you mention Taylor Swift and the Beatles in the same breath? I'm totally disgusted on that. All right, our last NFL story. Jared Goff got married to his girlfriend and model, Kristen Harper, in California over the weekend. These two have been dating since 2019, and they've been engaged since June of 2022. Not really a surprise, you know. We knew it was going to happen sooner or later, and there was a great video of her finding out some news about him when she was on a Sports Illustrated swimsuit shoot. I forget what news she got about him, but you know, they've been together for a while.
We got our first win.
Was that it? Okay.
His first season.
Yep.
Okay.
He threw that touchdown pass to Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Oh, that one. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, congratulations to them. So we'll see if he plays any different this year, being a married man.
Yeah, I saw one post say Jared got that one ring and now he needs to get a second one, which is that Super Bowl ring. So
I saw that too. That was a good quote.
Yeah.
Yes. Get another ring.
Heck of a summer he's had. Heck of a year. He took his team to the NFC Championship game. He got paid. He's the third highest paid player in the NFL right now. Got married.
Yep.
Shoot. Kyle, what happened to our invitation? I thought with us having our Lions podcast, we were like a lock to get an invitation to this stinking wedding. Where is it?
I hate to disappoint you. I got the invite.
Do it every day.
You were out of town, so I had to cancel.
Oh. That is true. We were in Toronto.
We were in Toronto over the weekend, so yes. Okay. Did you get any good gift bag or anything from the wedding? A piece of cake or something?
No, I got he handed out Rolls Royces. I got one parked out in the driveway.
Oh, cool. So I guess you're not going to be driving that truck anymore. Okay. All right. Let's move on to our last story here, which comes from college football. And this is kind of interesting. According to an article on CBS Sports, former college football head coach Les Miles has filed a lawsuit against LSU, claiming that the school's decision to vacate 37 of his wins between 2012 and 2015 eliminated him from consideration for the College Football Hall of Fame. According to the lawsuit, Miles is seeking appropriate remedy for the blot placed on his good name and reputation by the LSU decision. At issue is the fact that the 37 vacated wins dropped Miles' career winning percentage to below 600%, and that's the cutoff to be considered for the Hall of Fame. Miles now has a career record of 108 wins and 73 losses without the vacated wins, giving him a winning percentage of .597. LSU was forced to vacate the wins by the NCAA and was placed on probation after recruiting violations dating back to 2012, when a representative, gets a little murky here, when a representative of LSU's athletic interest paid the father of a prospective athlete over $180,000 over a 5-year span as part of an embezzlement scheme. The athlete enrolled at LSU and competed between 2012 and 2016. That's where the 36 games comes in. The representative has been disassociated from the program for the last 10 years. So why is Les Miles suing the school when it was the NCAA that basically told him they had to vacate those wins? This lawsuit makes no sense at all to me. To me, it just sounds like sour grapes because he can't get into the Hall of Fame now.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. I mean, but for me, I've always hated the idea of the vacating wins bullcrap. It's taking away somebody's Heisman Trophy, vacating wins. Two of the dumbest things that the NCAA does, and that's why I hate the NCAA. Those games were played. The games happened. I don't think that particular thing gave them any sort of advantage. So I don't see why punishing a coach or even a school for those games like that makes any sense. at least on the record side, when it's something that we can tangibly see or know that happened, we have records of happening. Now it's just like they're saying that these didn't exist or didn't happen. I just think it's stupid. As far as the lawsuit, though, I mean, I don't blame him. I'd be pissed if I was this close to getting into the Hall of Fame over winning percentage and that kind of crap, kept me from it. Like, I'd be a little peeved too.
Aaron,
Yeah,
any thoughts?
considering the whole Reggie Bush saga and how that got resolved earlier this year, you got to think this is gonna in time correct itself too.
I hope
Now
so.
that
Yeah.
now that paying players is almost a necessity for any
Right.
big college program, you would think that in time, Les Miles will get those wins vindicated or show back up. But maybe you should come up to Western Michigan and try to revive our program to get that winning percentage up a little bit.
What a
Kyle, I know
spin!
it's not.
What a spin! I like where that ended up going. That was great. I'm 100% all for this.
Kyle, I know it's not the University of Michigan, but do you have any thoughts on Les Miles and LSU?
Should he come to Michigan, Kyle?
No. So yeah, it kind of sucks for Les Miles, but I know Michigan lately has been in hot water, so yeah, I don't know. It sounds like Les Miles probably he might have heard like some wind of this, what was going on, but I don't know if you want to put the whole blame on him and cut off his winning records like that. So, but it's LSU. Those guys down south, I don't know, Georgia, all those teams sounds like kind of muddy water down there.
Okay. All right. Well, that's it for our news segment. I want to thank Aaron and Kyle for joining us for this today. This has been a lot of fun. Not saying we're going to do this all the time, but yeah, we should probably have you guys back every now and then to give your opinions on the news of the day, I guess.
It's a fun
Adam,
little
you want to?
fun little appearance to be on the 350th episode. So it's amazing you guys have done so many podcasts and getting up to 1,000 subscribers. Hopefully, a couple of new familiar faces can help that for you guys.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. All right, Adam,
Anything
you
from
want
Kyle?
to take us out of this section?
Yeah, let's see. I want to see what Kyle's got to say.
Yeah. Was it 350 you said?
Yeah.
So you got 400 coming up and
Next year.
next
Yeah.
year. Well, yeah, almost hitting 1,000 subscribers. So yeah, big journey you're on here.
For sure. All right. Thanks again, guys, for joining. Kyle, you're a peach as always. Aaron, it's always good to get you on the show. And, we look forward to having Aaron back on in the fall as we're going to keep doing our weekly NFL picks videos. Around September when the season kicks back off, we'll plug that more as we get closer. But yeah, look for Aaron to pop back in on our weekly NFL picks and rankings show we're going to be doing this fall. Probably tweak the format a little bit, but we're looking forward to that. And then also, guys, just a reminder out there, we didn't mention this show up top, but we also have Canadian Football League Weekly Dad and I do. That's another show on the channel. So if you guys get a chance, go over there, check that out for a little more in-depth discussion on the CFL.
Okay, well, thanks again to Aaron and Kyle for joining our show today. It was a lot of fun. Now we're going to continue and finish off our regular portion of the show. We're going to move on to today's birthdays for June 25th. I've just got one today, but his name is Paul Young Tanker. He was a fullback and a halfback and a linebacker in the NFL. He was born on this date in 1928, and he passed away in 2001 at the age of 73. Played his college football at Grambling State, and he also went on to play for the LA Rams from 1949 to 1957, and he was with the Pittsburgh Steelers for one season in 1958. He won an NFL title with the Rams in 1951. He was the first player from an HBCU school to play in the NFL. He was inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame in 2000. And by the way, a little fun fact, his first game in the NFL with the Rams in 1949 was a 27-24 win over, you guessed it, the Detroit Lions. So that's it for the birthdays today. We're going to move on to obituaries. We have 3 obituaries today. This is where we take a moment and we honor those who've made the world of football a better place. And our first obituary is that of Dave Williams, a wide receiver and end in the NFL and the World Football League, has passed away at the age of 78. Williams played college football at the University of Washington and was selected with the 16th overall pick in the 1967 NFL Draft by the St. Louis Cardinals. He played for the Cardinals from 1967 to 1971. He also played for the San Diego Chargers in 1972 and 1973 and was traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers during the 1973 season. Williams finished his playing career with the WFL's Southern California Sun in 1974 and 1975. He was also the first player ever signed by the expansion Seattle Seahawks in 1976, but he never played with the team due to a knee injury. Williams was named to the Washington Husky University Hall of Fame in 2014.
All right, our next obituary is that of Darren Lewis, a running back in the NFL for 3 seasons, has passed away of cancer at the age of 55. Lewis played college football at Texas A&M and was selected in the 6th round of the 1991 NFL Draft by the Chicago Bears. He played for the Bears from 1991 to 1993.
And our last obituary today is that of Tony Hunter, a tight end in the NFL for 4 seasons, has passed away at the age of 64. Hunter played college football at Notre Dame and was the 12th overall pick in the 1983 NFL Draft by the Buffalo Bills. He played for the Bills from 1983 through 1984, as well as the Los Angeles Rams in 1985 and 1986. And that's it for our obituaries. So lastly today is our upcoming events calendar. This Sunday, June 30th, the Arena Football League regular season comes to an end. On July 2nd, Hard Knocks off-season with the New York Giants debuts on HBO and Max. That's 5 episodes there. July 6th, the AAL2 Championship Bowl 2 is going to take place. Like we said before, the Peach State Cats versus the Wheeling Miners in West Virginia. On July 10th, the docuseries Receivers premieres on Netflix. That's going to be 8 episodes. Looking forward to that. Let's see. Friday, July 19th, the EA Sports football video game is released. I could care less, but you're all excited about that, I know.
I'm all in for it, yep.
And also that day is the date of Arena Bowl 33. Neutral site location to be announced, so we'll find out about that here pretty soon. July 26th and the 27th, that's when the Women's Football Alliance 3 championship games will take place that weekend over 2 days at Tom Benson Stadium in Canton, Ohio. August 1st is the Pro Football Hall of Fame game in Canton featuring the Chicago Bears and the Houston Texans. August 3rd, the 2024 Hall of Fame enshrinement ceremonies will take place at Tom Benson Stadium. August 6th, Hard Knocks training camp with the Chicago Bears. That's going to be a 5-episode series on HBO and Max. August 24th, week 0 in college football. College football is back. It's not that far away, folks. Thursday, September 5th, the NFL regular season begins with a game between the Ravens traveling to take on the Chiefs. And the next night, September 6th, is going to be the Eagles versus the Packers in Sao Paulo, Brazil. That game is going to be exclusively on Amazon Prime. And that's all we've got for upcoming events for the next couple months anyway. Anything else before we call this a show? I don't know, you've been checking your phone to see if any hot news has been popping up?
Well, between that and that's what I got the script on today, since we're doing this remotely. 350 episodes. We've done this show many different ways. We did a show in Arizona. We've done a show over the internet like this. We tried to do this one time earlier this summer, and it just didn't work out. But I feel like today it worked out. I'm glad to have Aaron and Kyle on. It's always a hoot getting those guys together. So, yeah, it's been a wild ride for the world of football. 350 episodes, and shoot, we got no sign of slowing down yet. It hasn't killed me yet.
No, and we're so close to 1,000 subscribers. So yeah, we're just humming along, doing our thing, talking about football, trying to educate people that it's not just the NFL out there. It's not just major college football. It's everything. It's everywhere. And if you look hard enough, you'll find a lot of alternatives. The CFL is great. The Indoor Football League is great. The Arena Football League is great. They've got their problems, but they're going to work them out. We've loved arena football for years and years, going back to the year 2000. So it's all out there. A lot of people just don't take the time. They only think that it's the NFL. That's the only game in town, but it's not. It really isn't. And there's a lot of things to like about these other leagues. Yeah, they've got their problems too, but in the end, they're a lot more affordable than an NFL game. They're more fan friendly than an NFL game, and there are reasons that you should at least be checking them out. We had a guy in the comments say that he heard us talking about what was it, the IFL, and he actually went to a game in Orlando and really enjoyed himself. So I'm glad that we were able to bring that up, so that this guy heard about it. He got interested. He went. He liked it. So that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
We want people to find out about all these leagues and all the things going on.
Because, I mean, the great thing is also some of these guys you see in some of these other leagues, maybe they pop up on one of your NFL teams. Like we've been following the UFL. The fact that Jake Bates, the kicker that we were falling in love with, is at least signed with the Detroit Lions. Awesome. Like these guys can jump around from these leagues, and we like to see the guys from these smaller leagues kind of rise up. There's a couple arena guys that I think deserve to get some NFL chances. Darius Prince with the Albany Firebirds, I would love to see move on to a bigger league if he wants to. But I mean, the opportunity's there. That's the point of these smaller leagues. Get these guys noticed, and they can keep moving up. And the goal is to get to the NFL for some of these guys, and I'd love to see that. The other part of it for us, it's not just educating people on the vast variety of football offerings out there. It's also us learning. There's still so much out there we don't even cover in this, on this show. There's a lot of indoor leagues that we don't talk about, and then there's a lot of nuances to, like, as much as we love the CFL, there's so much nuance and there's so much other stuff happening around that league that we're not, inundated with it every day. Like we can get what we can from thanks to the internet now, but I'm sure there's still fans out there. And we got some buddies who have messaged us with nice little nuggets of information that even we miss. And we're not just here to be like, telling you all about it. We also like to learn about it. I mean, it's kind of a give and take thing that we like to do here. And that's my favorite part about one, doing this show, two, doing this channel, and three, interacting with everybody. It's we have something to give, and we are here to listen and to also receive information.
Yeah. I've said it before that it's all good. It's all football. It's all good. We love it all, and we want everybody to know about it. So stay tuned, and we'll try and educate you. We didn't get into this because we know everything about all these leagues. No, we don't. But we know enough to where we can learn from people, and learn by watching, and learn by asking questions. So we don't know anything, but we want to know everything about these leagues, and we just love finding out new things.
Yeah.
All right.
I look at it as like if you ran into us at a sports bar, we might not be the most well educated on all these different leagues, but hey, we can give you a little bit of information. You give us a little bit of information, and we just have a good time talking football, regardless of our level of knowledge for the sport. As long as you have a passion for it, that's all that matters.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Well, that's all the time we've got for this week. We hope you enjoyed our special 350th episode of our podcast. If you learned something during this podcast about the incredible amount of diversity that exists in the world of football, then we have done our job. Visit our website at theworldoffootball.com for news, links, upcoming events, original articles, videos, and more. Our email address is info@theworldoffootball.com.
That's right. You can follow the World of Football on Facebook, X, and Instagram. Just look for TWOF Kalamazoo to find us across those platforms. New episodes of this podcast are posted on Tuesdays and are available on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music. So you can simply ask your Alexa device to play the World of Football podcast to hear us in those wonderful earbuds you may or may not have. You can also find the full audio version of this show on our YouTube channel, but today, obviously, it's not going to be the audio version on the YouTube channel. We have a special video, but you're listening to the audio on the podcast feed, so nothing's really changed there for you. But yeah, just go to the YouTube page. You can search the World of Football Kalamazoo, or use the handle @the World of Football in that search bar on YouTube. So please spread the word. Give us a like, leave us a comment. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button. We're getting so close to 1,000 subscribers. Leave us a comment. We like interacting with everybody. Let us know what you think, and please come be a part of the football conversation.
And remember, folks, some people may love football more than we do, but nobody, and I mean nobody, loves more football than the two of us sitting here in Kalamazoo. Until next time, when we'll try and do a better job. Yeah, right. I'm Randy Snow,
And I'm Adam Snow.
and we'll see you all next week.
Thanks again, Aaron and Kyle.